Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2021 My Team series with Lozzer Racing for the Hungarian Grand Prix this time round. This is the 8th race of the 16 race season, so after this we will be halfway through the season and into the season break before the Belgian Grand Prix. This is also the last race before we make a decision on our teammate, whether we renegotiate with Robert Shwartzman or we potentially get someone else. It depends how much money we have on whether we're able to get something else, to be honest with you. But before the race here, we go and get the turbo improved materials durability upgrade. We just about had enough R&D points to go ahead and do that upgrade before this race, so I thought, why not go and do it? Otherwise, you know, if we get more and more R&D points, I'm just never ever going to get that upgrade, am I? So I might as well do it now. But if you did miss the previous episode, I would highly suggest going and checking that one out, because the race in Silverstone was absolutely chaotic with loads of battles, just all in the same place, loads of cars battling, an 11 car battle for the points. Yes, you heard me correctly, 11 cars battling for the points. And yeah, so I would suggest going and checking that one out, but in the meantime, let's get on to Hungary and let's get into qualifying, shall we? And honestly, this isn't a track that I really like all that much, although I have driven it a few times, just not on this particular game. But as we come around the final corner on our first lap here, I feel like we've done alright, but at the same time, you know, our car's still not very fast. We've actually dropped behind Haas now in the performance chart, so we're now the second worst car on the grid as we come across the line for our first lap, and it's actually the slowest out of everyone that has done a lap so far, slower than Russell in the Williams, so that's not very good to start off with. So we go for another lap, but we're only marginally improving. We're currently in P20, only Mazepin and Latifi behind us, Robert Shwartzman ahead of us, but we're only improving by like a tenth, so we're not really going to get very far, are we, on this lap? And the car just doesn't feel very good around here. Of course, Hungary's known as Monaco without the walls, and you know, as you know, we weren't very good at Monaco with the walls, so we were never going to be very quick around here as far as I'm aware. So we have to head out for a third lap on a third set of soft tyres, because I'm not going to improve on scrub sets. So if I get into Q2 here again, it's a case of just, you know, it's qualifying either P16 or P19 at this point. At the moment, P20, because Mazepin's gone ahead of us there. And we're down to P20 and 21 at the moment for the team, which is just, that's not very good, is it? But this lap is looking a lot better here, as we're currently a tenth up as we head into the chicane. And as we get towards the end of the lap, we're actually nearly 4 tenths up. I do go a bit wide on that corner, I will admit, but you know, it's not track limits, at least not right now anyway. So as we come around the final couple of corners now, this turn is the worst, by the way. The exit to that turn, I can't remember what number it is, I can't remember how many corners there are on this track, but we improved by half a second. Where is that going to put us in the standings? It's going to put us in P18, which is, yeah, not great. We're out in Q1 again, and it's a pretty poor qualifying. So, yeah, let's head on to the race, shall we?
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
From the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sergio Perez and Sainz, Vettel, Tsunoda, Stroll and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Ricciardo. They've taken a grid penalty. Raikkonen, Norris, Lawrence and George Russell. Mazepin, Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Shwartzman and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So we're starting one place up in P17 after a grid penalty for Pierre Gasly. It's going to be a pretty simple one stop, mediums to hards, just so we can try and get as high up as we can as the 5 red lights are on and it's lights out and we're underway here at the Hungaroring. We've had a fantastic first part of the start, but then the second part we're a little bit slower as we're now going to potentially be taken by George Russell. We're going to dive it up the inside and we're going to get all the way up into P11 just like that. I didn't want to do that big of a dive initially. What I was trying to do was sort of make George Russell do it in a way so that he could cause potential carnage in front of us, but we've actually managed to really help our race here by getting up into P11 and suddenly we're in a fantastic position because I think the top 7 have got soft tyres on because well, it was all the top 10 I'm pretty sure, but obviously 3 of those top 10 did have grid penalties, so that is why it's only the top 7. But now if we're in P11 that means that, you know, we're like 5th in line on the medium to hard tyre strategy, the one-stop strategy. As towards the end of lap 1 here we make a huge dive on Lance Stroll, and also Ricciardo gets past him as well, so we're now up into the points, we're up into P10. Could we be on for a points finish in this race? You never know. If we can keep the cars behind, which is not that hard to do, it's not as hard to do here as it is at other tracks, then we could potentially be finishing in the points, although at the moment the car directly behind us is a McLaren on soft tyres and Ricciardo's going to have a go into turn 1. We're going to fight this because it's for position and we go around the outside of turn 1, but Ricciardo gets better traction and he is going to get ahead of us with absolute ease. So suddenly we're back down now to the points again, and Stroll's going down my inside into turn 2. He's going to try and get past me here. Will he do it? No, he won't. We have the inside line into turn 3 and we have the momentum to stay ahead of him, and actually he's being put under pressure by Fernando Alonso, so at the moment Stroll's focusing more on defence than he is on attack. But now I just want to bring your attention back to the start, as just look at the front here. We've got Hamilton on pole from Bottas, then Verstappen and Leclerc, but look at the start that Leclerc gets. He's instantly trying to get ahead of Bottas, so is Verstappen. They're all jockeying for position, but Leclerc has the inside line, and look at him go. He goes straight into the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Bottas overtakes Hamilton as well. Sainz is up to 4th ahead of Verstappen, so the 2 Ferraris have had mega starts here because Hamilton and Bottas are battling. Look at the lead that Charles Leclerc manages to get from the 2 Mercedes. Look, he's already around turn 4 there. Look at the 2 Mercedes still battling there just behind him, and the Ferrari is off into the distance. And someone who is also getting on with it now is Daniel Ricciardo. Now he's past us. He wants a piece of Esteban Ocon, and into turn 1 he gets the inside line. Ocon can't really do anything about it. He tries going around the outside, but Ricciardo has got the move. He's got the position. He's on better tyres at the moment. It's only lap 4, so those soft tyres will be working a treat. And now it looks like that Ocon could be under threat from us as well, because, I mean, we're keeping up with him here. Ricciardo's gone off into the distance. He's 3.3 seconds ahead of me now, but we're sticking in DRS range of Ocon currently. Well, Stroll's in our DRS, and, you know, Alonso's in his DRS, and people are starting to pit as well, so we're going up positions. People who are on those soft tyres are already pitting on lap 7. That's pretty early, isn't it, when you think about it? So we're now on lap 11, all of the soft tyre runners have made their pit stop, so this is the man that currently leads the race, Yuki Tsunoda, ahead of Esteban Ocon and myself. I'm currently running in P3, Stroll in 4th, Alonso in 5th, and then comes the actual leader of the race, Charles Leclerc, in P6. He's managed to hold that lead pretty much of this entire race so far, but Yuki Tsunoda now currently leads the race. And finally, after about 6 laps of being in the DRS of Esteban Ocon, we now might have a chance of actually getting past him here, as into turn 1 we're going to make an absolute kamikaze dive down his inside, and we are going to get the move done, and we're up into P2. Obviously that's not going to remain P2, and now Ocon's actually under pressure from Lance Stroll as well. Look at the mirror behind. Stroll is passed in the Aston Martin, or is he? Ocon's still battling here, and Ocon, they're still side by side as you look in the mirror behind us. Unfortunately, I don't have a replay camera for this, otherwise I would have showed it on a replay camera, but into turn 4, Stroll gets the move done, or does he actually? No, he doesn't. They're still battling here, but actually that's really good news for us because we've already pulled out a 1.5-second gap on Esteban Ocon, so that's helped us immensely. Tsunoda's 4.2 up the road. I don't think we're really going to catch him before the pit stops occur, but we're up into P2 right now, and we're looking in a pretty strong position in this race right now. And now on the next lap, the leaders are starting to sift through the medium, the one-stop runners, and this is Lewis Hamilton on George Russell for P8 at the moment. Russell is in a lot slower car, of course. The Williams, the worst car on the grid. The Mercedes, the best car on the grid. And with absolute ease, Lewis Hamilton gets into P8, and Russell actually spins out trying to get back past him again. He got on the curb, and George Russell out of nowhere has now completely ruined his race, and he is going to be down into dead last place as we now come into the pits on lap 18 from the lead of the race, because we were the last medium runner to pit. Leclerc retakes the lead of the race from Bottas and Hamilton. We come into the pits for a set of hard tyres. Now, you're probably thinking, pitting for hard tyres on lap 18 out of 35. You're probably thinking why I'm doing half the race on mediums and half the race on hards, like dead on half pretty much. Well, that was the strategy call. So, you know, at this point now for me, it's all about keeping cars behind. I don't think I'm going to be trying to overtake anyone, just trying to keep people behind. Because as you can see, we've come out of the pit alongside Esteban Ocon, and we're back into the position that we were in originally, ahead of Ocon and Stroll's now going to go for it on Ocon again. We're going to be doing another few corners of looking in the mirror here, not because of us, but because Ocon and Stroll are going wheel to wheel, and Stroll has got the move done a lot easier this time, and into turn 3. So now we've got an Aston Martin behind us, their car is a lot quicker than the Alpine, so we might have to do quite a bit of defending come the end of this race, because yeah, the Aston Martin car is quite fast. Now at the moment we're in P11, which is obviously not the position we were initially in, like I just said, but when I say the position we were originally in, I mean like we're ahead of Stroll and Ocon. That's where we were. As Stroll now goes to have a look into turn 2, but it's just not going to happen for him. Norris, I think, is yet to pit. I think there's a couple ahead of us that are yet to pit. I think I don't know who the other one is. It might be Vettel or someone like that, I'm not sure, but I think there are 2 cars ahead of us yet to pit, which means that we will be up into P9, which is where we were originally. And on lap 26, this is happening just ahead of us actually, well 5, it's nearly 6 seconds ahead of us, but Max Verstappen around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo at turn 1, Verstappen on mediums, Ricciardo on hards. I think Verstappen's done a 2-stop, Ricciardo a 1-stop, and Verstappen easily gets past, or does he? Because Ricciardo's still hanging it in there around turn 2, but no, Verstappen does easily get past. On the straight, he was so much quicker than McLaren, and Verstappen is up into P7. But for us, this second stint was really quite dull. Stroll dropped behind us. He's 3.2 seconds behind us at that point as Mick Schumacher retires from the race. I can't believe we've got to lap 30 and we hadn't had a single retirement yet. That's pretty good for this game, that has to be said. But yeah, Stroll has dropped quite a way behind us there. So we pretty much solidified this P9. We are going to finish in P9. But someone who definitely isn't going to finish in P9 is this man. He's managed to lead the entire Grand Prix pretty much. Apart from the time when, of course, the 2-stoppers were behind the 1-stoppers, but that doesn't count. He's led the entire thing, and he is going to come round the final corner. Charles Leclerc is going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix, a brand new winner in this season. Someone that is not Hamilton, Bottas or Verstappen. Charles Leclerc wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a superb drive from him that was, and yeah, brilliant drive from the Ferrari. But for us, in a way, it's just as sweet as we are going to come home to get some more points. Only 2 more points, but it is points nonetheless. We came out in P9, we stayed in P9. As we come around the final couple of corners now, we're going to come home for some more points, 2 more points. We're going to finish in P9, another fantastic race from us. After qualifying P18, starting P17, it's a brilliant drive from us. That dive bomb on lap 1 into turn 1 pretty much shaped the rest of our race. If we'd have not made that dive bomb, we would have probably finished in like P18 or P16 or something.
A performance to be proud of today from our Hungarian Grand Prix winners. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So there we go then, it's Leclerc winning the race ahead of the two Mercedes, Bottas second, Hamilton third. And yeah, apologies that nothing much really happened in that race, the second stint especially, but I suppose that's the way that a Hungarian Grand Prix would normally go. As I said earlier in the video, it's known as Monaco without the walls, so there's not going to be much overtaking going on. But we finish in P9, which is a fantastic result for us because it means more points. Simple as that, really. Robert Shwartzman finishes in P19, not a very good race for him at all, really, was it? He gained 2 positions because he qualified in P21, but one of them was courtesy of Mick Schumacher retiring. So, yeah, not the greatest race from our teammate there. But looking at the drivers' standings, which, yes, I forgot to show again last episode and at the beginning of this one, we've actually dropped a couple of positions, though, due to the fact that Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri actually finished in 4th. I didn't even pinpoint that. Yuki Tsunoda finished 4th. In this race, which is an absolutely incredible result for him. So he's jumped me and Gasly, but we're in P13. We've got 9 points ahead of Ocon and Stroll, who we held off today. Schwartzman still in P20 without any points. And going on to the constructors, we are still in P8 with just 9 points. And to be honest with you, that is probably where we're going to stay because, I mean, we need a decent teammate, really, to help get points as well. Whether Schwartzman can provide that, I don't know. And now, we've actually got a big decision to make, as it is now time for contract negotiations with our teammate. So here we go then, it is time to negotiate a new contract with our teammate, but first, I want to have a look through the driver market to see if there are any other drivers that we could maybe afford. We've got 4 million in the bank. Robert Shwartzman would be 2 million. He's 70 rated, which is alright, that's decent, it's not too bad. And then I saw Yuki Tsunoda for 3 million. He is 12 ratings higher than Robert Shwartzman, but Yuki Tsunoda, we could get Yuki Tsunoda as our teammate. Mick Schumacher's also affordable. Stroll is slightly off bounds, we're 500,000 short, but Tsunoda, he could really work. We could actually get Yuki Tsunoda. And as we look through the stats there, it's no contest, is it? 16 better experience, 20 better racecraft, 8 better awareness, and I can't remember what the pace was. But yeah, Yuki Tsunoda would accept an approach from us. Our car is good enough, apparently, according to the Japanese driver. He's just finished 4th in the last race, so we are going to negotiate and try and poach Yuki Tsunoda off AlphaTauri. We start off with a large bid, which is, you know, this is the first time I've ever done this, by the way. I've not actually signed another driver to a team yet in this. Our offer is under consideration, but AlphaTauri actually go, no, we're not gonna have him. So we do another large bid. AlphaTauri are considering it. They're considering it. Are we gonna get him? Yes, we are. Yuki Tsunoda is gonna be our teammate for the second half of this season. That's a curveball that even I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting to have a new teammate for the second half of the season. I was fully expecting to just have Shwartzman. That's it. So we've paid 3.16 million for Yuki Tsunoda, and he is going to be our teammate for the second half of the season, which is absolutely incredible. And to end off the episode, we actually now have an interview with Will Buxton, so let's go and do that real quick.
Here we are in the HQ of our newest Formula 1 team. We've got an awful lot to talk about, so let's jump straight in. Your facilities here are looking a little dated compared to other teams. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I'm not going to invest if it doesn't contribute to on-track performance, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Your automated test facility looks like it's had a few upgrades. Are you focusing on durability?
You've literally just asked me why I'm not investing. Anyway, the durability of our car is one of our best assets.
Things haven't quite been going your way this season. Are you going to be able to turn the team around?
At this point is where the morale of one of the departments has to go down, and for some reason I thought it would mean it would go up, hence why I chose the aero department for some reason.
Your second driver really seems to be improving at a rapid pace. How dedicated are they?
I answered this as if Shwartzman was still my teammate, but the amount of time they spend preparing off track is very admiring.
Would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team?
Not at all. It is my team, after all, and not just mine, so I do what's best for the team.
Well, thanks a lot for inviting us here. It's been fantastic.
So that's the press interview done, and we now have a marketing department event. The F1 Esports Series wants to invite some of our team to an event to increase their profile with fans of the sport. A deal can be arranged, but it would mean losing some time in development. What should we do? I'm going to decline that because I want resource points, please, because I don't have enough to buy any upgrades right now. And with those extra 500 resource points, we're actually going to go and purchase a chassis upgrade and the engine cover upgrade. So, thank you, but yeah, thank you for the invitation, but no thank you at the same time, because it means we can actually develop our car now. And that is going to be it for this episode of the F1 2021 My Team series. We've ended it with points, and we've ended it with a brand new teammate. Yuki Tsunoda will be our teammate going into the second half of the season. And it's going to be very exciting, isn't it? So if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you like what you see and you want to see more. And if you don't want to miss a video, hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. You'll get a notification whenever I upload. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. Peace.